Gentlemen, how goes it?
So far so good. I don't know. I don't know what to say. We were just talking about this off the air. Today has been a roller coaster of emotion for me, and it
Is that a
continues
pun?
on. It is.
Wow. Yep. Okay. It was. You should have said virtual roller coaster ride of emotions.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a virtual roller coaster ride of emotions.
AJ is doing slightly better, I imagine.
Oh, he's doing great.
Okay.
Right?
I'm great. I got my email.
Bro, I'm just happy when I was starting the
I'm
show.
locked in and good to go.
I'm so happy.
Let's do this thing, man. We got a lot to talk about.
I just want to
We
say
do.
I just want to publicly thank you, AJ, for
What?
I want to publicly thank you for because we're starting the show today, and you're not doing any spooky vampire voices, and it makes the whole show go better when we start without that. So thank you
It
very
was
much.
a Halloween thing.
Yeah, you're a Halloween thing.
But I'd be lying if I say I wasn't tempted to do it right now.
All right, let's get going. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on YouTube.com/ I don't even know what our URL is anymore. I think it's just Without Parole. I think we managed to nail that. It's at Without Parole. The ampersand Without Parole. You now use at signs. Yep. And AJ changed his camera, so now the top half of your beanie is cut off. Craziness. I will fix it while you guys are
You
talking.
got to get the full beanie in the shot always. That's in our contract.
I know. The beanie has its own contract. It's separate from you.
Does that?
Oh, that's so
does that
much
work?
better. Yeah, now I don't have to fix it. It's wonderful.
Cool. Technology, baby.
My name is Brian Polifnician, right here, PSVR Without Parole, and joining me all the way to the far right-hand side, our regular West Day host, Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers. Wes, I know things could be better right now. I know that, but there's still a lot of exciting shit to talk about today, right?
There is a ton of exciting shit to talk about today. Well, there's a moderately amount of extremely exciting shit to talk about. There's another mid-sized amount of kind of exciting shit to talk about. Then there's the rest of it, and I'm sure we'll talk about that stuff too.
And joining us for this very special occasion in the middle of the screen here is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Wes? What is up, Game Cats? Happy West Day, and what a West Day it has been. Woo! Can we get started? Can we just start talking about stuff now?
No, we can't
I'm ready.
because I can feel your pain. And I want to make it even more painful. Dude, I just have to say that. So we were supposed to go to my brother's house to celebrate a birthday today, and of course my parents and everybody in my family knows Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I am unavailable. Like I can really work with pretty much any other hour of the week, other than those. Right. And so, of course, they scheduled this birthday celebration for right in the middle of GamesCast today. And I told them yesterday, I said, listen, if nothing happens, like if there's no news, then I can probably join you guys. But I'm not gonna, but if anything happens, then I can't be there. And so Sony was listening. Sony was listening and said, well, fuck you, Brian. We don't want you spending more time with your family than you have to. We're going to, yeah. So moments after I went to sleep this morning, lots of shit hit the fan, and we're going to talk about all that in just a second. After we give a shout out to Your Long Shadows with the 20 Nokia cell phones that says "Boo, slow mode, let the people ramble." If the people could contain their rambling just a little bit more, we wouldn't need slow mode. But man, the rambling is bad, and the negativity sometimes is too much for some people to handle.
I've tried to explain this, but I have been your HR department lately where everybody's coming to me telling me about the slow mode and how much they hate it. And I'm like, guys, it's there for a reason. I mean, granted, it's there more for live streams and stuff. It's probably more useful, but it seems like every time we turn it off, there is like one person that like is just fills up the entire thing. And we want to see all your comments. We want to give everybody. So make your comment count.
Yeah,
That
We're talking about you, sex bot.
it's literally only 45 seconds. Like, how many thoughts are you guys having in a minute? Like, that's crazy.
the sex bots are cool. I'm talking more about like the
Listen,
9-year-olds.
The sex bots are cool, right? And I can't wait to have my very own sex bot, right? They're coming after us, and one of these days, hopefully with the help of you guys, in patreon.com/withoutparole I'll be able to afford my very own sex bot, and my search for love will officially be over. We also got to give a shout out
the dream.
to Paradise Decay with the I'm scrolling all over the place here. I know it's here somewhere with the something tip. It's $2, £2. It says PSVR 2. Take my money. Indeed.
They will. Don't you worry about that.
And take as much as they can.
Please take my money, please.
Now let's try the game feline with the $5 tip says IMO. In my opinion, at this $550 price, Sony should not bother talking about Quest ports. Sell us on why this headset is $150 more than a Quest AAA's only. I mean,
We're certainly going to get into that.
yeah, I definitely agree. From a marketing standpoint, like they should be like beating us over the head with as much. Sorry, sirens on my end, with as much AAA information as possible. Guys, yeah, we probably shouldn't dick around, right? We probably just get right into this thing. There's a lot of sirens on.
The tips are already starting to get ahead of us here.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start with how this information was delivered. We got 2 blog posts today. One talking about pre-order information, and another one talking about games. I want to say we were shocked at seeing this information delivered via blog post, but I think we can all agree that after years of joking about it, no one here was shocked, even in the slightest. Agreed?
I would agree with that. And, typically I've been, I've not been as down on the whole blog post thing as everyone else. Like, I don't consider it a slap in the face to VR when they do stuff like this, because they announce a lot of stuff on their blog. So, I don't consider it a slight. Now, with that said, I do feel like there was certainly enough info drop today for a 20-minute state of play, and they probably would have driven a lot more visibility and excitement had they done that. So I don't know. I kind of wish we would have gotten a little bit more from them in terms of the way they packaged it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I think, like, legit, they basically put they put out all of these trailers on their YouTube channel. Like, how difficult would it have been to just put them together into one stitched together video with somebody kind of narrating the entire time, and maybe wearing a PSVR 2 headset, that kind of thing. And so I feel like with just a little bit more effort, you could have pleased everybody. It's like the blog post would have been there anyway, just to kind of like give us the information in text form and give us links to all these videos. And then there could have just been one. They could have called it a state of play. They've already got that template made. They didn't have to like reinvent the wheel. And I think it would have been far more exciting for everybody.
I'd be a certified crazy person if I kept getting mad over the marketing over and over again. I mean, we're going on for years. The surprising part is the marketing is actually better than it used to be. Let that sink in. And yeah, I mean, you take what was shown at the state of play, you take what was that trailer that they made for the headset, you take all this information and everything. I think, yeah, it would have been a little bit better messaging. I think, again, look, man, let me be honest. Like, Sony's marketing for this thing and for PSVR 1 sucks. It always has. It probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it always will. But like I've always said before, what matters is that the product is actually really, really good most of the time. So that's kind of where I stand these days. Like my expectations marketing wise are on the floor or underground. But
Underground.
I still get excited because what they're actually showing us, there's a lot to be super excited about.
I agree with that. As a PSVR enthusiast, there's a lot to be excited about. I've always kind of given them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to let the games sell the thing to the mainstream audience, and that there were more like big first party stuff coming. And whenever we got the announcement for pre-order, that they would sell us with another big title or two. And Rush of Blood, they could have literally not made me. There's nothing more that I'm tripping over my words. I'm so excited about this title. There isn't another title they could have announced to make me more excited.
Yeah.
But it isn't quite what I expected in terms of luring other people into the ecosystem.
Right. It's very good for already VR enthusiasts, which is what I think they're targeting first and foremost. I think that's what they're trying to do here, is target people that they know are all in at the strategy that they've delivered. And things might have to get adjusted in the future to reach a wider audience. But yeah, they definitely have the PSVR and VR enthusiasts pretty sold, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it comes to any surprise. It comes to a surprise for a surprise. See, I'm also tripping over my words, Wes. I'm so fucking excited. I can't even handle it. It doesn't come as a surprise to
You
anybody.
sound really excited.
I'm so
Let me share
surprised.
your excitement.
Let me add a little bit more monotony to my voice. This is how I talk when I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
And
I'm so goddamn
and
excited.
I just can't hide it. So yeah, but I don't think it comes as a surprise to anybody that like the VR YouTubers and enthusiasts and ambassadors and whatever you want to say, we're all over this news today, right? And basically did Sony's marketing for them. They put out these blog posts. Everybody was excited. There's trailers for shit. It's like it does help when there's trailers on the YouTube channel to reference and I mean, if it was just a couple of screenshots and a few games listed, it would be one thing. But we actually did get trailers for a lot of these games, and it was it was good. I think the excitement level out there today on the Twitterverse and everywhere else was really it was over the top. I think everybody who's interested in VR, this news got to them today for sure.
I agree.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, go ahead because I'm going to change the topic.
No, I was just going to say it makes. I do question. I question their intention with this generation of VR. I've always kind of assumed that they would pick up the mantle from Meta and kind of continue to try to push into the mainstream. We've always just assumed that that's what we're going to get, and now I'm starting to wonder if maybe their strategy is to just be here when VR blows up instead of making it happen so much. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they're committed to VR long term. They're always going to have a VR product and a VR platform. I don't know if they're looking to be at the forefront of selling it to the masses because it don't feel like that yet. And I would have expected it by now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they were selling VR to the masses, it's like ditch eye tracking, ditch whatever else would make the headset expensive, and make sure you hit that magical $300 price point so that every single person is like, yep, well, this is what I want, right? Just ditch everything that makes the thing expensive. Instead, we're getting a really premium product and something that will actually last us 6 years, and not something we'll have to buy another model of next year or the year after that to keep current.
That's also a great point about when they release hardware, they like it to last about 5, 6, 7 years, something. I mean, we've literally been getting PSVR 1 releases up until this year, 6 years later, which is crazy. But yeah, their hardware, they typically like it to last half a decade or at least. So there's a lot of time to work with here. This is only the beginning. So there's lots of there's lots of cushion right now.
Yeah,
maybe they know they're not going to have the volume to serve the masses up front anyway. So why not take care of the faithful first, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Or price gouge them.
Right.
Price gouge the faithful.
We get the VR grid with the Canadian $5 tip. It says every game cat today. It's a lot of E's. MRI Gamer with the $2 says AJ on West Day. What a treat. Yeah, it took like literally no effort, I promise. Nidhogger, the European Zucker Gato. I started with my European accent too early. I screwed that up. With the €5 says, woohoo, so excited. But where is the new super sexy panda ghost co-host everybody was raving about lately? I don't know this. I don't remember there being a super sexy one. I just remember there being a panda ghost. Don't remember it being sexy, however. All right, guys, let's get into what actually happened today. And first and foremost, the thing that everybody was excited about was that we finally got some of the details about launch. And with that launch, we got the price, we got the release date, and some info about pre-ordering. So let's start with the price, guys. It's $549.99 US. Same in euros, 529 quid. 74,980 yen. In this bundle includes the PSVR2 headset, the PSVR2 Sense controllers, and the stereo headphones. Right, so pretty bare bones, pretty basic stuff. Before we move into the other bundle and the accessory that they announced, how are we feeling about the $550 price tag?
I'm not shocked. I was expecting it to come in at $499. That was what I was expecting. So a little higher, but 600 was kind of my high mark for it. Like it can't be more than $600. They got it within, within the window there. A little higher than I would have liked, but like everyone in the chat saying, take my money, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I had our predictions, Brian, for the price.
What were our predictions?
We both had the same prediction. And just a heads up, we were very wrong. Mm-hmm. We both had a prediction of $400 because we thought that they were going to come at this, that they've waited long enough for prices on the technology and stuff to come down a little bit. They wanted to be competitive with the Quest. Mind you, this was before the price hike on everything, or was like right around that time. But yeah, so I was thinking 400 when the PS5s went up $50. I said, well, maybe it'll be 450 max, or I said 450. I could see 500 max. I did not think they were going to break that threshold of 500. I also didn't think I thought there was no chance it was going to be 600. So hey, I was kind of right. But yeah, I was about $100 off, or $50 to $100 off on this thing.
Yeah, I thought they were. I absolutely thought that $300 would have been like a no-brainer, and everybody would have fucking bought the thing. But also, we didn't really understand how much some of this tech cost. I thought the big thing came down to eye tracking to find that out. Yes. And I will say though, I didn't think they would breach the $500 price point. I thought that 500 would be the absolute maximum, $499.99, and we'd be like, wow, that's a premium headset. And I do believe that at one point, once upon a time, that this thing was probably meant to cost that amount of money. But with inflation and the price of parts and everything else going up, I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Up $50, yeah.
Right, and as expensive as this price seems, like for some reason I'm still like I'm not crushed. I'm not horribly disappointed. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a premium product, and I think it means the adoption is going to be a little bit slower than we were hoping for.
Right. We've learned in recent weeks just how much this eye tracking tech must cost with Meta and their $1,500 headset that doesn't even have OLED, by the way. And we've already got schematics or CAD images for what's supposed to be the Quest 3 with no eye tracking. So it must be pretty expensive tech. I'm with you, though. I expected them to subsidize it a little bit more, but, we weren't that far off. And I'm excited nonetheless.
I was definitely shocked by the price, but I can't say I'm fazed by it. Like it sucks that it's so much higher than I expected. And it was like you said, it will definitely slow down some sales for a lot of people. But I just feel like to me it just doesn't matter. I think if they went to like 600, if they actually went to 600 or higher, I would be like, okay, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like that at that point, I'm like, look, that is just terrible. 550 is like the max they could get away with, considering the tech, considering what's on offer here. And I do think over time that will probably reduce a little bit and get a couple more adopters over time, but it's going to be a minute.
It'll go on sale. Like they'll wait for all of us dopes to pay for it early, and then around Christmas next year, they'll knock $50 off for Black
Yeah.
Friday. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. This sets up a great opportunity for Black Friday deals, for, holiday deals, things like that.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to mention that like let's look at the competition. Like the Quest 2 is not that much cheaper than it. The Quest Pro is like 3 times as much as this, and so I think the most important, I don't know if it's the most important, but it's certainly the most compelling argument that I've seen comes from Mystic Ryan over on Twitter, who compares this to the PSVR 1. He said, so for comparison's sake, the price of the PSVR 2. In 2016, PSVR 1, without the required camera, no move controllers, was $400 US. VR World's bundle was $500, and that's the bundle is when they included the move controllers, right? And so it was $500 to get into it with the proper controllers and everything that you needed. Now, the other part of this is that this doesn't even account for inflation, and so when you account for inflation over the past 6 years, PSVR 2 is technically cheaper than it was to get into PSVR 1. And I know that that's not like reassuring. I don't think it's just that because we expect as technology advances and whatever, the prices should come down, and we shouldn't be paying more I think we really thought that, VR has come far enough where it was like, this is going to be more affordable than ever. So it's just, what happened just wasn't what we expected, but it is comparable to the original PSVR 1 as far as price is concerned, and technology is obviously way better. So it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, and this, like, again, this is going to last 5, 6, 7 years. So, I mean, the only way that doesn't happen is if they release another wireless model that in the future. But again, that's going to be $1,500 or $1,000 something if they decide to do that. But I mean, yeah, I mean that equates to, you're like renting, if you're equating it to how long you're going to have it for, that's like $110 a year if you're renting it. I don't know.
We've got a couple tips in the chat that I think are pertinent. So we got Anthony Jones. Hope I did that.
Anton.
Let me interrupt you here because he actually DM'd me in Discord.
Oh.
It's a very long question. Apparently, the character limit wouldn't allow him. I don't know what it says on YouTube side, but I have the full thing here.
Yeah,
if you're interested.
yeah, on YouTube it says my question's too long for Super Chat, so I'll post it in the comments. So take it away, Wes.
All right. So Sony and Meta appear to be going to war, and not against each other, but together to strengthen the foundation of VR. Meta exclusives like Jurassic World, Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and maybe RE4 are going to get the PSVR 2 treatment. Ghostbusters and Iron Man are both Sony and on Meta platforms. If you consider Meta acquiring Camouflage and gaining the Iron Man IP, don't you think Sony's acquisition of Insomniac plus the clear partnership with Meta could give weight to the rumors of a Stormland remaster and sequel on PSVR 2? So he's basically asking here what we think about the Rythian leak that Stormland's going to get a remaster and sequel on PSVR 2. And if we think that the apparent partnership that has come to light in recent weeks give validity to that.
I think that it is a possibility because of, their history with them, but I don't believe anything that dude says.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to some smaller titles that don't matter all that much, I think you're 100% correct. I think that there's going to be some sharing, there's going to be some agreements made behind the scenes, and then we get to, and that way, regardless of what platform you're on, you'll get to enjoy a good number of titles. I think because right now, I don't think we're in such a transition generation for VR, right? We're in the generation where it's not going to quite be mainstream yet, but everybody kind of needs to help each other for it to become mainstream. So I think the real competition does begin with PSVR 3 and Quest 5 or whatever the hell they'll be up to at that point. But in the interim, yeah, it's gonna save everybody a little bit of money and for them to work together. So I think you're right, but I also don't think it's. I think it's a very short-lived romance. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their non-VR stuff, their relationships. I mean, they have games that are multi-platform, and then they have their first party exclusives. They have exclusives that they pay for, content that it's exclusive. So that's kind of what it's going to be. And yeah, it is being so early. I mean, we're still in kind of the early days of kind of mainstream VR, and it is kind of important to kind of work together a little bit and spread these games out a little bit more, especially like third party stuff, indie developers. These need to be on whatever platforms that can run them or support them during this time to get them some revenue. And it'll help things grow a little bit. Like VR has always been growing over the last couple of years organically, and it's just what needs to happen right now.
But it does make sense. I mean, you do kind of see the exact same situation that you see with Stormlands with Iron Man VR, right? You have the competitor picking up the studio that developed the game. Who knows what red tape lies in the IP? If they both have something and they consider it to be mutually beneficial, I could see them coming.
Actually, I listened to an interview with one of the guys from Insomniac when they were first acquired by Sony, and they basically said basically Oculus just has to say sure, or Meta just has to say yes, and it can come. That's all it takes is for the game to come to PlayStation, and vice versa.
Our next tip comes to us from Josh Cat with the $10 tip. Says, I'm so happy to spend my day with such glorious people, plus Brian. This is... I should have read.
He knows you too well. This person knows you.
I should have read that first. I've gotten to experience celebrating a new console with such a great community. Period. Hashtag GameCat Army. It's a good thing you didn't include any other commas in that, or I would have read all of them, Josh. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for supporting the channel. Aceville of the Corn Cat with the $2 tip says, how do you get an email? Do you need an email? Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. We'll get back to the different to the Horizon bundle in a second here. But we do need to talk about this. If you go to PlayStation.com and you click on hardware, there's a little drop down thing that says PlayStation VR2. You click on that and you scroll down a little bit and it'll say, alert me for pre-orders, right? I mean, there's a picture of it in my breaking news report. Wario64, AJ, me, we've all retweeted the link today. Go to that, click the link, and sign up for the emails. I got mine this morning without having to do anything because I already signed up for it. Doesn't mean you'll get an email. AJ has already signed up for it, but then you click the link today, right, AJ? And then you got the email soon after.
I'm not gonna lie, I registered like 5 times in the last few months because I was like, I just got to make sure that they're still there. I got to make sure I'm still on there.
Every time you do it, it unchecks the box, and then every time you do it, it rechecks the box, it unchecks and rechecks.
I got lucky. I got lucky. I did an odd amount of times. But actually, yeah, this morning I saw Wario64's tweet, and what you're supposed to say, Brian, is follow me on Twitter at PSVR Underground, and I have a link right there for you.
But I'm not PSVR Underground. Why would I tell them to follow PSVR Underground? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, that link I also just posted a link in the chat, and that's where you can.
Wait, what's the link? Does it link to your channel? Does it link to your Twitter account? I don't.
No. It's direct to the website.
I don't believe you. I don't believe it.
Click on it and find out.
You're a scoundrel, AJ. You're a scoundrel, and we all know it. However, our stories are not universal. Everybody has not experienced this. So I've seen a lot of people in the chat say that they signed up forever ago and they haven't heard anything. Wes, what happened to you?
I can't think, Brian. I'm so distraught right now. I did not get this email, and I have been among the first. Anytime that they say sign up for more information, I'm like, AJ, I go back and make sure that I'm signed up for it. But now I'm questioning myself. Did I click the right things? Did I signed up for the email updates or whatever, which subsequently I don't think I've ever gotten any of those either. But I don't have my invitation, and I'm distraught about it. I should be over the moon right now, and all I can think about is everyone else has their email and I don't have mine, and I could cry. I could literally cry. I'm holding back the tears right now.
Don't cry. Don't cry. I'll hug
It's
you.
hard not to. Tears of joy when I saw the games, to just despair when I saw all these people tweeting their emails out. I'm like, oh my God, where's mine? It's still not here. I'm watching it right now. It's not here. I don't know what to do, Brian. I'm panicking. I think I'm going to have to pay $1,000 to a friggin' scalper, man. It's
No, you'll get another chance.
disturbing.
So the great thing about this is that your invitation doesn't give you like some kind of limited time dealy, right? Like you don't have to be the first one there to you don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and refresh. You've got 3 days. You've got 3 days once the event starts to go to PlayStation.com or direct.playstation.com. And it's from the November 15th to the 18th. So they literally were like, you can put your feet up and you know, drink some coffee and hang out, have some pizza, and you'll be fine. Like they're basically trying to make this as stress-free as possible, which, as we're seeing on the far right-hand side of the screen here, not terribly successful yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I know that like whenever I wake up on the 15th, I'll just be able to sign in to the event on Sony's own website and order directly from them.
So yeah, pre-orders go live November 15th, 13 days away.
So close.
Hope you've been
mere
saving.
minutes.
Yeah, that is definitely really close. 13 days away.
Sleep.
Most likely, I mean, yes, we'll get a lot of people will get the email with the direct invite thing, but there's going to be probably multiple sources. Make sure you join our Discord. There's going to be multiple ways to stay on top of that. Even if you don't get an email, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of way to pre-order one. I don't think they're going to stop there.
They said explicitly that people in our region in Europe,
right,
that the only way to get one of these pre-ordered is through Sony Direct. There's
so
not going to be any Amazon this time. None of that stuff.
Well, y'all have to
get it.
All right, so I do think that was wording. That was maybe worded because what it seems like, and please correct me if anybody has seen something that completely says this is inaccurate. From November 15th to the 18th is like this exclusive place where you can pre-order on PlayStation.com, right? After the 18th, that's when like Amazon and Target and Walmart and everybody else opens their pre-orders, right? And so it's really this way for, again, this is in every region. So anybody who's watching outside of, so it's the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So there's a whole lot of places that like you're just gonna have to rely on your local retailer or your online retailer of choice. And so I believe that in regions outside of the ones I just listed, those pre-orders will open at your retailers on the 15th. But I think here in the States and everywhere else I did list, after this exclusive pre-order period, then they open up on all those other sites. So I don't think it's like you miss out on this and you're fucked. I think this is to ensure that the PlayStation faithful get theirs because this is what we've been asking for, right?
Right.
This is exactly what we've been asking for.
Protection against the scalpers,
right.
Getting these versus scalpers, because that would just be another ugly situation. This is their way to combat that, which is great. Yeah, it says in other markets, PlayStation VR2 will be sold at participating retailers with pre-orders beginning on November 15th. Right. Information will be provided through participating local retailers in these regions. I don't know if that's outside of those. That's outside of US, I guess, but.
All right,
there will be multiple chances. I assure you, there will be multiple chances at times for sure.
All right, we've also got Genetic Blasphemy, the oozing game cat-like mask with the $5 tip. Says PSVR 1 was $500 in 2016 with cameras and moves. $600 is comparable. I've been saving my quarters for this for 2 years, so I'll also nab that charger. Yeah, I mean, we might as well say right now, there's another bundle that comes with all the stuff the first bundle comes with, all the necessary stuff, but also includes Horizon Call of the Mountain, and that is $600. And then on top of that, there's a $50 Sense controller charging base. So I think these are all the items that they basically announced for pre-order today. So many questions, you guys. So many questions. And my first question comes to me from me. my loyal viewer Brian Paul asks, does this tell us anything about the price of Horizon Call of the Mountain? What they're planning on charging for this outside the bundle? Because they're basically saying, here's your bundle. It comes to you at a discount for $50 more. And I kind of assumed that Call of the Mountain was kind of a $50 game to begin with. And then you're just getting a digital code here. Do you guys think they're just putting it together for convenience sake? Or do you think there's actually some kind of discount applied here and Horizon could be a $60 or $70 game?
I think it's a $60 game. I think that how much was the recent flat Horizon? Was it 70? Like it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was $60 just based on the IP alone.
I think it's going to be a little bit lower. We've always been in our own little bracket when it comes to VR titles because they are a little bit shorter. They are, of course, VR games are more expensive to make, but I'm definitely thinking
that's not true.
What?
VR games are not more expensive to make. They're made the exact same way as flat screen games are. That's been a myth that's been following us around for years now.
Oh, well, anyways.
They just don't recoup the losses the same way
really
that a flat screen game does, right? And so sometimes charging more is like the only way you're going to get your money back because you're not going to sell it to as many people. So it kind of works with what you're saying.
Okay, right. That wasn't even like supposed to be part of the point. The point was that in general, VR games have been less expensive, and so I'm still thinking like $50. I think $50 makes sense for what we've been told about the game. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 60. I don't think it's going to be 70 though.
Yeah, I feel like they should charge just to make. I think I feel like Sony could have done so many things today to make the PlayStation VR2 price seem way more attractive. Like they could have also just opened pre-orders for Horizon Call of the Mountain and charged like $80 for it, right? And then they're like, we packed it in and you got a $30 discount. Or they could have like also put up the Sense controllers, like another set of Sense controllers for pre-order. Like if you're the type of person that just always has two controllers that you're rotating out, like I am, right? They could have put those up for sale for like $200 and been like, oh, look, you're getting a $350 headset. Like overcharge for the other things to make the bundles seem way more attractive. And that would be super scummy. But at the same time, it's like, you've got a $550 headset. You got to do what you got to do. I don't know. That was a long way of saying I think it's a $50 game and we're not getting a discount in the bundle.
Maybe it'll have some weird skin applied to your headset. So that no matter what you're playing, you're always playing Horizon.
We got Dead Ringer, the Game Cat, the $2 tip says, should have packed in Horizon for pre-orders.
A pack-in title? It's a little bit too big of a game, like quality-wise anyways. I mean, it's a little bit too big of a game for a pack-in title, I think. I think if there was a 2-3 hour Astrobot something, which I wish there was, that would be a great pack-in title. That's proven to be a great one.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I definitely think we should expect an Astrobot title or a Playroom title or something along those lines. Maybe a VR World, or I mean, obviously a demo disc. It's gonna be a demo disc.
Demo disc,
right?
It's gotta be one of those. A demo disc, a small like experience PSVR 2 demo something showcase kind of thing, but definitely focused on the games right now for the most part. But that stuff is great for newcomers and of course.
Peter the Underground Game Cat on Parole, the $5 tip says random, but the day should be Mondays, West Nest Days, and the Miles one. Can't remember his name.
You almost had it. You didn't stick the landing.
True fan, Peter. True fan. Thank you so much. We got Techno Gatsby with the $5 tip says, "Oonts, oonts." Is that what it is? Oonts, oonts.
It's oonts, oonts, oonts.
Oh, thank you. That's what I keep you around for. Don't have a PS5 yet. 550 plus tax for the next VR unit. Entry point for PSVR 2 at $1,000 plus is scary to me. Or is that just me being super cheap? Man, shit's just expensive, man. Like gaming has never been a cheap hobby to have. Going all the way back to when the NES was around and games were $50, $60 then. That was super duper expensive back in the day. Gaming's always been an expensive hobby. But PSVR 2 is not necessary, right? Like if you want to keep up with current gen gaming, it's like most people are getting into the PlayStation 5. PSVR 2 is like kind of like this luxury attachment. Yeah, it's expensive, man. I don't think anyone can deny that. It's just, I think the best thing you can do is put it into perspective and say, well, is it worth the money that I'm going to spend on it? Am I going to, like, so many people bought a PlayStation VR 1, played a few games, and then put it in the closet. If you think that's going to be you, then maybe hold off, right? Don't spend $1,000 on something that you're going to play for a couple days and then never play again. So I think that's the most important part. I'm going to spend my entire life in this thing. So to me, it's relatively cheap. Yeah.
Still got probably a PSVR 1 backlog to go through. And, you know, if you don't have either one, there's a great PSVR 1 bundle if you want to wait a couple of years or whatever. Like I said, there's people like that wait years before they get stuff. It's totally normal.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me,
They finally priced the PSVR 1 bundle appropriately.
Right.
I went into Walmart the other day and they're like $200 now. Like, finally.
Yeah, which is it's a promotion, so it's just sad that it's not. This is the new price. That's just the way it should be, and I feel like it should have been this way for a couple of years now. Maybe they could have gotten a few more people into PSVR 1 a little bit earlier, and just kind of turned the tides a little bit faster, and then had more people on board for PSVR 2. But it's just probably expensive to make. Looper the Underground Game Cat clues everybody in with the €2. Says, for me, the email was under the promotions tab in Gmail. That's also where mine was. So if it's not in your primary, keep an eye on your promotions tab. Aceville of the Corn Cat said with the $2 tip says, thanks, but I stopped listening once I saw the link. You're the best, Aceville. Alberto Mapam. Why did I even fucking say that? Alberto Mapam. El Game Gato with the 125 Mexican pesos says, happy Dia de los Muertos. I probably mispronounced that. Let's remember our late loved ones. And if anybody's up for it, we could make an altar for Dave on Rec Room next year. Traditionally, we have to wait a year to make an altar. Sounds like an excellent
I was thinking
plan.
about Dave when we were having this conversation, because I remember him saying, I don't know how he ended up doing this, but he said he ended up spending like $800 or like $850 for PSVR 1.
Yeah, he was crazy because he's like, nobody had it in stock. So he said he was driving all around town trying to get the individual pieces of the PSVR headset.
He had to get like everything individually, and it cost him like $800. He said it was worth it though.
That. My first one was pieced together like that too, but
I think Brian and we both had our Move controllers from the PS3 era.
Right.
I bought the headset for $200. I got the camera for like $40 or $50, and then I like was ready, or no, I had my PS3 camera and I like started going and it like wasn't working, and I was like, what's going on? And then I found out you had to use the PS4 camera. Oh man, this is gonna be so much easier. Just the headset, the controllers, just plug it in. Oh, it's gonna be nice.
I remember some guy was shitting on PSVR for a whole month on YouTube because he was using the PlayStation 3 camera. He goes, look how terrible the tracking is. He's playing Bravo Team, the whole thing, aim controller shaking like this. He's like,
I remember that.
He's like, these other YouTubers are fucking liars. Look at how terrible the tracking is. I was like, what do you mean liars? Where do you think I got my footage from? It looks radical. Like, what are you doing? And I had to like sit down with him and be like, oh, you're not even using proper hardware, you moron. I say you moron. I can only imagine how many people did that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, it took me 5 seconds to realize it, but I guess it's a little bit different when you do that and you're streaming. It's a little bit harder on the spot to deal with that, but
maybe. All right, guys. So we talked about the two different bundles. We talked about the price. We talked about the charging dock. I mean, I'm just.
Did we talk about the charging dock?
Well, this is going to be a charging dock. You guys have any thoughts on the charging dock? Yeah.
I'm going to buy it.
Yep.
I will. This is to me, this is an investment. So like, you know, I'm planning on playing this thing for tons of years. And so, you know, with a lot of other headsets and stuff I've had, I haven't really been tempted to invest as much into it. This is something that really means a lot to me, and I will happily invest in this. And a charging dock's pretty important too. It's just more convenient. It's nice. I have my own thing. The only other option would be to like wait for some third party design for some charging station with like a stand for the headset, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm ready to go all in on this shit and just blow all my money.
I mean, I'm obviously going to get it. It's convenient. Also, if they do put up a separate listing for another set of Sense controllers, I sadly am going to buy those as well because sometimes for these super long streams, you've just got to put down one set of controllers and pick up another one, and while the other one's charging and keep bouncing back and forth. I don't think there's any way I'm doing a 12-hour live stream in PSVR2 with one set of controllers. So, yep, I'll be picking it up too.
Did they say anything about selling the controllers separately yet?
They didn't, and that's what I was a little bit surprised about. I'm sure they just want to make sure they have enough to go around, enough to go with each headset for now. But I'm sure that by the time launch rolls around or soon after, they've got to be selling them separately. I can only imagine.
Yeah, you have to. It'd be great. What happens if one breaks or something?
Yeah.
Well, people are going to smash things with them. It's going to be pandemonium.
Well, and it's also, I was just thinking about the Quest controllers. I was like, I can't picture a separate listing for Quest controllers, right? But at the same time, all you need to do is throw in another AA battery in those. It's not like it's a little bit of a different situation. You can.
The Pro controllers, like on the new headset, they're selling those controllers separately. $300 for a pair of those.
Wow. So if Sony actually did sell the DualSense controllers, a set of them for $200. I was kind of joking earlier, saying, "Oh, it would make the $550 package seem like much more attractive." But compared to the Pro controllers, $200 would kind of seem like a deal. But, all right, what does that bring us, gentlemen? Does that bring us to games?
That brings us to the games, baby. Woo! This is my favorite part.
Well, then why don't you kick us off, AJ? If it's your favorite part, tell us how exciting were the games.
So look, I mean, I like the announcement was great and everything, and I'm fully with Wes here and probably Brian too, and a lot of people. I have to talk about this first. I don't even know if it's the first thing on the Rona show here. Yes, it is. Luckily, and that is the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, which is a spiritual successor to Rush of Blood. This is a confirmed launch title. I mean, everybody knows, man. Rush of Blood, we've talked about it so much, about being one of the best horror games, one of the most fun shooters, and absolutely the best roller coaster game to this date. It's the first thing, it's one of the best things that people put their new player to VR into the headset. It is something that I've did. It's why I bought a PlayStation VR in the first place, is because of Rush of Blood. And we've been talking about getting a remaster and just being lucky to do that. I was totally surprised that there is a sequel. It's got a completely different name, which I don't know really why, I guess, but this was some of the greatest news I could have gotten today, and just like literally, I almost teared up a little bit because it makes me that happy that this is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason it's not called Rush of Blood 2 is fairly obvious because it's not in the Until Dawn universe. This actually takes place in the Dark Pictures universe. So they're doing the exact same thing with the Dark Pictures as they did with Rush of Blood, or what they did with Until Dawn. And like, we're going to make a horror roller coaster shooter out of this brand that is beloved. I don't know if the Dark Pictures is beloved because I've never played a single one of them. And that is disappointing to me because I did play Until Dawn and enjoyed it, even though I didn't love it. So I was familiar with the source material. With this, the source material is completely foreign to me. I don't suppose either of you guys have checked out the Dark Pictures flat screen games.
I haven't played them directly yet. Some of them have been more well received than others, but they're generally regarded as pretty solid. I can tell you this: I will be playing these in VR before February gets there. Now, it's something I've been kind of toying around with anyway. Like, we're always modding stuff into PC VR anyway, and I'm a horror buff, so of course 2 + 2 = 4. I should be playing these. Now I have an impetus, something that's going to push me to actually do it, and I'm excited to get in there and check them out. Obviously, these various different titles are all going to kind of factor in to this PSVR title. And I'm with AJ here, man. I was not expecting this at all. I thought we had lost Supermassive Games. I thought they were gone forever. I have harassed them for years on social media.
Yes.
I thought they were gone.
You see, Brian, it does work.
I don't think we have any proof of
all
that
West.
still.
Actually, no. I mean, I definitely did my fair share of trying to bug them endlessly. Like, but yeah, I mean, with the joysticks, the new hardware, I was not expecting a rail shooter style game to like. I really thought that would be like start to be like phased out experiences like that and stuff and games like that. But this makes me so damn happy.
Yeah. Just real quick here. Shit. Oh, TurboGrafx 616 in the chat, or 616, I should say, says, I don't feel the upgrade in this trailer. Now, I think that's going to happen when you put the headset on, right? I feel like that's going to happen when you feel the rumble of the roller coaster tracks thunk, 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 thunk in your head and in your controllers. I think that's going to happen when you see the 4K display and there's no screen door effect in the dark. I think that's going to happen when, in every single regard, the adaptive triggers will make every single weapon you pick up feel different. I don't think you can really understand the difference between PSVR 1 and PSVR 2 until you put the headset on. And that is the one downfall of flat 2D trailers selling us on a 3D VR headset. So I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. But I do think when we put the headset on, we're all going to be fucking shocked by how beautiful this thing is and how great it feels too.
Are we just going to comment on this stuff, or are you planning on reading through all the words they gave us today?
Oh, sure. Do you want to read through the store listing?
This one specifically, I
Sure.
do, because I think we get a better idea of what exactly they're doing with this title that makes it a bit different than the original Rush of Blood. Brian, they're doing exactly what we speculated that they might do, and I'm so excited about it.
Nice. Well, let me bring up the store page. Does one of you want to start reading it while I do that?
Sure.
I would actually avoid the store page, maybe just because of spoilers.
It's too late. We're doing it.
I mean, the blog has the whole thing, but okay.
It's the same. It's the same on the store page.
Sorry, sirens on my end.
Oh, you're exactly right. It is exactly the same.
Oh, yeah. Let's do the store page. Why not? We'll mix it up. We're always on the blog. All right, let's check this thing out.
That's where Sony
Want me to
wants
go,
us
or
to
you
be.
want to read it?
Oh no, please go. And if anybody does want to avoid spoilers, yeah, there's quite a bit of information here. So just keep that in mind. Cover your ears.
It's not anything huge. It's really cool. I mean, I would stick around and hear it. It's really cool, but
It's
a little.
I don't know how you feel anymore, AJ. Should they stick around or shouldn't they? Is it spoilery or isn't it spoilery?
Hey,
Should we read
stay a
it
while.
or shouldn't we read
Stay
it?
a while. No, read it. It's
Stay
good.
forever.
It's good.
Sorry.
This shit sounds great to me.
All right.
All right. So this thing is captioned at the top. It says, "Don't blink." Remember those words. Immerse yourself in this fast-paced roller coaster action horror shooter where every move you make could mean the difference between life and death. Experience the thrill of the most nightmarish VR roller coaster action shooter, enhanced, remember that word, enhanced by the innovative features of PlayStation VR2 and set inside the sinister world of the Dark Pictures anthology. Switchback VR will take players on a multi-sensory ride on a sinister roller coaster from hell. Survive the horrifying ghost ship and its distorted apparitions. Confront hideous demonic incarnations of persecuted witches in 17th century New England. Fight for your life against otherworldly vampires trapped beneath the desert.
Vampire Night.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean, we needed a vampire game for a while. I'm glad that
Yeah.
we're getting it here. Escape the horrifying World's Fair Hotel with a sadistic serial killer out for blood. Discover how your story connects these worlds and make sense of the nightmare that is Switchback. So just taking a break really quickly here. This pretty much confirms that all of those other Dark Pictures titles are all going to kind of converge into this one, and they're all going to tie together.
When I read through that section alone, that's what actually got me really excited. All of these set pieces sound incredible. I'm really, really excited. Under the desert fighting vampires and shit, that sounds amazing. And then just all the locations and stuff sound great.
Yeah.
Burning witches flying at us. It's going to be terrifying.
Witches.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And it gives a bunch of different. Whereas Rush of Blood it felt like every single level was kind of based on another fear. There's still this whole other world that they didn't explore, and I feel like this gives them the opportunity to do that. Right? There was no witch burning in the first game.
That's true. That's true. No witches in the first game, although there were some witch-like apparitions, but
that's true.
No witches. No vampires for sure. Come face to face with the most terrifying antagonist from season 1 of the Dark Pictures anthology and feel the horror up close with PlayStation VR2's innovative capabilities. Don't blink. Using eye tracking, your enemies are upon you in the blink of an eye. So this is worded a little bit differently, actually. Hold on tight, endure every bump, and drop as your cart speeds along the tracks with haptic feedback, bringing that roller coaster feeling to life. Feel the tension. Adaptive triggers make each weapon feel unique as you unload on terrifying enemies that emerge from the shadows. Mind your head. Avoid falling beams, overturned buses, and hanging witches. Headset rumble ensures that you'll feel it if you don't. Plus, of course, 4K HDR and 3D audio supported. It's your own personal nightmare where each track has multiple terrifying paths. No two runs will be the same. Those are big words.
Interesting.
Yeah. But each will test your reactions in this multi-sensory VR horror experience. In the ride for your life, choose your path wisely and try to stay alive. So a lot to unpack there. I just want to start and go back to the don't blink thing because they worded it differently here. If you read on the blog post, they're very clear about what that means. The game's going to be doing things when your eyes are closed. They can tell when you blink. There are enemies that only move when you blink. Brian, we talked about this not long ago, did we not?
We did. We absolutely did. It's one of my favorite things about horror games. And we always talk about how one of the greatest things about horror games, whether that be in VR or not, is when you turn around and things are different, right? Like they fuck with your perception. You just walked out of a door, you turn around, the door's not even there anymore. You got nowhere to go. It's Exorcist Legion VR. It's Batman Arkham VR. It's even Layers of Fear, right? They've all done this. And this is some next level stuff, right? This shit changes when you blink. It's a dream come true, Wes.
It's pretty sweet. I mean, at its core, what I love is like it really sounds like just another Rush of Blood. Obviously, it's the same concept, the same structure and everything, most likely. But it's just set in this new universe to keep up with their newer anthology series or whatever it is. And I'm totally cool with that. Like Rush of Blood was definitely my favorite Until Dawn game. And this will probably be my favorite Dark Pictures game.
Yeah, that's right.
Dark Pictures.
You know, Rush of Blood, number 6, if I remember correctly, on our overall PSVR top 50 for a reason. It was a game that was built and tailored for the strengths of the original hardware. I think that's what we're going to get here again. I think that they're going to take advantage of every unique feature that PSVR 2 has. And I think 5 years from now, when we're doing the next PSVR 2 top 50, that this will probably be ranked very highly.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing, man. This is going to be so amazing.
I can't wait to have a top 50. Real quick.
One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you first.
I was going to say one more thing before we move on from the store page that I noticed. If you scroll down and read the fine print, PlayStation VR 2 is required to play the PS5 version of this game.
I mean,
do you probably the PlayStation Store is not anything to go by, man. They had Elden Ring that had aim support.
Agreed, but do you think there's any chance this could also be coming to PSVR 1? Is that what you're saying here, Wes?
I'm saying that it could be coming to another platform. Maybe not
Maybe
PSVR
PC.
1, maybe Steam could
Yeah.
be coming to another platform.
Okay.
I don't think that this is locked in stone that this is a PSVR 2 exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely opening up a whole can of worms there, a whole bunch of possibilities what that could be implying, or if it's just poorly worded, as AJ and I, and you probably too, Wes, know. We have seen the PlayStation Store be just horribly, horribly mismanaged. Games saying that they support the nav controller when they don't, aim controller when they don't, just completely incorrect listings in there.
I'm fine with that, man. I mean, if it, hopefully, first of all, it's good, which
Yeah.
I totally expect this to be amazing. And if so, like, yeah, I'm totally down with that. As much as I love my exclusives, like, I would want as many people to play Rush's Blood as possible. So, as much as I love exclusives, it's like, yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah. I'm just incredibly happy to see Supermassive back on PSVR or on PSVR 2, technically, obviously.
Yeah.
This is, we go down the rabbit hole and we say that, Rush of Blood was an amazing launch title, and then it sort of just went kind of downhill from there. The Inpatient wasn't as good as we wanted it to be. Bravo Team was kind of a disaster. Like, was really just not the game even they wanted it to be, as we found out from developer interviews post launch. And we found out just how horribly mismanaged Supermassive was. And then, of course, knowing that they had Killzone VR in their hands and basically got it taken back from them by Sony. And so with Sony saying, hey, no Killzone VR for you, like, we're going to do this internally from now on. You could say that, you could be concerned that would sever the relationship or at least create some little bad blood between the studios. And they're like, we're fucking done with VR. This shit doesn't make any money anyway. Right. And so it's nice to see them back and hopefully mending that relationship.
So this is one of the bigger titles, I think, coming day one. There's lots to talk about. A lot of people that feel a little underwhelmed by what was shown today. This is far from an underwhelming game. This is a big title, in my opinion, and should be one that everybody should really be looking forward to. But it wasn't the only one. There was another game that is the largest first-person shooter that we in the West have never heard of.
Right.
And it is called Crossfire Sierra Squad, and it is based off of literally, it's like supposed to be the biggest first-person shooter in the world, and it's like all over on the East. It started, I think, in South Korea, and it blew up. And like, for some reason, everything I read about or looked into this, it was just saying for some reason it never gained popularity or whatever over here. And it never really had to, just because it was that big over there. And so I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this, and then I would love to break down this article or whatever for the PS blog for this one if you want.
I mean,
Fucking hate you. I hate you, PlayStation. PlayStation just sent me an email, guys. Did
Really?
you guys know that Silent Hill 2 remake is coming to PS5?
that's Sony just being like, we know, Wes, fuck you. We know what you really wanted from us.
Fuck you, please, Tony.
Yeah, I will say my first thought about this is man, like immediately, and I know this may be a strange thought to have, and maybe it's because of the unique position I find myself in, but my first thought was like, man, I wonder what's happening with like Reggie over Strange Games, like, about his, really indie first-person shooters, modern military shooters, like what's going to happen with Alvo, like this, because this looks like it really delivers on a whole lot of stuff that those games don't. There's a full 60 mission campaign. You can play it solo. You can play it up to 4 players co-op. Like, there's a lot going on here, and the assets look pretty damn good. I say assets. I mean, I just use that word now as if it's a thing.
I wrote down a couple of notes when I was watching the trailer. The graphics do look really good. That's what I want to see. When I get a PlayStation VR 2, I want to have a next-gen experience. Something, I love indie titles. I'm totally down for those as well. But I'm really, at least especially at first, at launch, what's going to get me excited about PlayStation VR 2 are the more polished, the more high budget, the more blockbuster titles coming out at first. That's what I'm interested at first. And 2 of the notes I had was the graphics and the sound design seemed really good just from the trailer alone. And yeah, that immediately stuck out to me were the graphics and the sound design.
What do you think, Wes?
I think that it's,
Stop emailing Sony hate mail.
I'm thinking of the words in my mind here, how exactly I want to say it to them. I think it's nice that Firewall's going to have some early competition on the platform. Competition always breeds good things for the consumer, and I'm pretty excited because the way they word this makes it sound like there's going to be a co-op campaign here, which is something that VR lacks. Across the board, no matter what platform you're talking about. So, again, like AJ was saying, this is a franchise I've never heard of, but apparently it has a lot of money behind it. The initial trailer looks good, and I like the description. So fairly excited for it.
Yeah.
This game seems like a big game too. It seems I don't know if we're gonna read the article or not, but it seems when I was going through, I don't remember what I was reading. Maybe it was from this. It seems like there's a lot of content in this game as well. This is not a small game by any means. It does have like an arcade style thing about it. But to me, Brian, the easiest way to describe this, I know we just spent a bunch of time, last 10 minutes, praising Supermassive Games, but this is like, to me, everything that you didn't like about Bravo Team, this seems like it rectifies that. It does everything that we wanted from Bravo Team. This seems like that game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this obviously, again, we won't know until we play it, but yeah, this 100% agree with what Wes was saying, that we don't get enough of these lengthy campaigns in VR, and we especially don't get enough of them that are also playable in multiplayer. We tend to get games that are multiplayer only. There's like these PvP style games, but it's very seldom PvE. Yeah, we
also don't get a lot of first-person shooters, like modern military first-person shooters.
Which
so yeah,
is
like he said
crazy.
as well. Yeah, that is something that we need a lot more coming out the gate. And yeah, this will be part of that collection, which will be nice. We need way more of those than we had last gen.
Yeah, we can go over. Was there anything crazy interesting in the PlayStation blog? More sirens on my end. No surprises though.
I don't know. I mean, I could just blast through the whole thing real quick.
Yeah, go for it, man. I got a few things I need to do over here.
All right. So, Crossfire Sierra Squad developer Smilegate. They say, "Greetings, mercenaries. We at Smilegate are thrilled to announce that we are working on a brand new VR game called Crossfire Sierra Squad. The first-person shooter incorporates innovative features offered by PSVR2 and is planned to launch on PSVR2 in 2023. Soon you'll be able to drop into a world of Crossfire in full VR, taking the fight to dimensions yet unseen. Dimensions yet unseen? A battle-focused shooter, Crossfire Sierra Squad will have you fighting a seemingly endless enemy force with high AI intelligence. It's a fast-paced, easy-to-learn first-person shooter. We can't wait to show you what we're working on. Play as the leader of an elite fire team in the middle of a war over a top-secret biochemical weapon that has recently been discovered." Now, I just got to say, this sounds super cheesy and ridiculous and dumb, but in all the best ways.
Well, you said, I mean, it's funny that in the very last paragraph, you said dimensions undiscovered or something along those lines. It's like, I always love when something that starts off super realistic takes this weird turn, like the end of every Uncharted game, right? There's always like some supernatural thing that kicks in, or so there's a lot of examples of it, because like when it's just straight like modern military stuff, I'm like it's all right, I'm sure it's gonna be fun, but as soon as it takes that Brian Paul twist, I always get real happy about shit.
I am too. It's funny though, a lot of people are kind of divided over that. Like I mentioned Crysis, a lot of people hated when it went like full like alien sci-fi stuff, and I was like, I love that. Like, I love the beginning of the game too, but that twist was great. Okay, who is responsible for this weapon and for what reason? Be prepared for fierce resistance from all sides as you battle a variety of crafty enemies and relentless search for the truth. Yeah, all the story stuff sounds so cheesy, but it's great. I'm all with it. I'm all for it. When you drop into action, you'll experience you'll experience all the high quality characters, maps, and movement that Crossfire fans have become accustomed to. Now in VR, fierce paramilitary action between rival factions, Blacklist and Global Risk, in a variety of indoor and outdoor battle scenes with over 60 campaign missions will keep you riveted. Our goal is to make you truly feel the impact of this arcade shooter. 60 campaign missions. How about that?
Yeah, boy.
How about that? Yeah, man, it sounds like everything we want. We'll just see if they deliver.
Well, here's more stuff for you. The weapons you'll find and use in Crossfire Sierra Squad are also as varied as you would expect. 39 types of weapons, including pistols, rifles, throwable and throwbackables, grenades, and sniper rifles with revolutionary scope mechanic, give you plenty of options to dispatch 17 types of enemies. I wish there's a little bit more. You will also engage with heavy artillery like helicopters, and LAVs in full 360 VR space. So make sure you keep your head on a swivel. Helicopter fights, man. That's what Bravo Team was missing. That's where I was getting at with that. And the enemies you'll face aren't just unintelligent NPCs. They have acute AI, so clearing them out won't be easy. But if you need help, recruit a friend or 2 or 3 and jump into large-scale co-op play. Coordinating attacks with teammates is really fun, especially when you learn how to communicate via real hand signals through the finger touch detection in-game. And the boss fights get super intense. So there's going to be boss fights as well.
Dude, that makes me so happy right there, right? I mean, we don't need to harp on Bravo Team more than Bravo Team's already been harped on, right? Because we know there's a million things wrong with that game. But the fact is if you're going to make some kind of arcade shooter, man, where the hell are your boss fights? Especially if you're trying to mimic things like Time Crisis, right? Boss fights are, seriously, like if you're making
boss
a video
fights,
game,
helicopters,
don't forget to make it fun. And boss fights are always epic.
I am all for arcade shooters being totally over the top. Like, that's what makes them fun.
Yeah.
All right, there's one more little paragraph here.
Right.
We are working hard to create a game experience that will suit players new to VR as well as VR veterans by incorporating several modes, including arcade mode, realism mode, and hardcore horde mode. And if you are the competitive type, you'll probably find yourself fighting to be on the global leaderboard so the world can see your accomplishments. Our goal is to bring all fans of military first-person shooter games together, regardless of experience level, into an exciting shared adventure, solo or co-op, with up to 4 players on a team. That's Fred White from Smilegate West, Director of Marketing.
Thanks, Fred.
Man, this game seems like a lot of fun to me personally. I love action games. I love shooters, over the top arcade shooters and stuff. Love that there's co-op. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Wes.
I think I've pretty much said what I think about this. I'm excited about it. You know, military shooters typically aren't my thing, but this thing seems to be sufficiently large scale enough, and again, playable with friends, with a campaign, boss fights, lots of variety with weapons and stuff. Like it seems like it's going to be a full-on VR adventure, military shooter adventure. So I'm all for it. You know, even if I'm not familiar with this franchise, again, it seems like a pretty big project, and I'm excited for it for no other reason than that.
Yeah, this is good. It allows something to stand side by side with Fireteam. I've seen Fireteam Bravo, Jesus. With Firewall's Ultra, right? There's definitely room for both of those games to exist, even around launch period, right? Because what they're giving you is radically different. Like this seems like it's more of a co-op experience, more campaign focused, whereas Ultra is again going to be the PvP stuff more than anything else. We'll see what else they deliver, obviously.
There's room for like 10 more, man. Let's be honest here.
Sure, but at launch you don't want to oversaturate it, right? Like that's the idea. Right. You don't want to cannibalize everybody's sales by having too many similar titles.
Right. And this did say coming 2023. Didn't say it was a launch title. Just said it was going to launch in 2023. I don't know if that's like a thing, but yeah, really, really excited about this.
Yeah. Guys, let's take care of a few tips here before we do anything else, because they are backing up on us. And they're getting angry out there, man. I can feel the claws at my back. Waleed is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger with a Canadian $5 tip, says, "Hi, guys." Hey, Waleed. Just started watching. Really happy to have a launch date. I think the first 2 million batch will sell out at $5.49. Holiday 2023 will be interesting. Agreed.
What up, Wally?
Heard a little negativity today being like, oh, there's no way at this price PSVR 2 is ever going to outsell PSVR 1. You know who I'm talking about out there. I'm saying your words, just repeating them in a really, silly voice. And I do think I do think that Sony's trying to gauge how many units they need as early as possible. Well, early as possible would have been like a year ago. But still, it's they made it pretty clear that like they won't have any problem producing more. And so if pre-orders really exceed what they expect, then I do think they'll have more than 2 million at launch. I think they'll be prepared in case of that inevitability. But holiday 2023 will be interesting, Waleed. I agree. I can't wait to... I hope leading up to launch, and hopefully you guys agree, that Sony also says, these are the games that'll be there at launch, but here's some reasons to be excited for 2023. Here's some reasons to be excited further down the line. Like, we've also got these AAA games coming. These developers have signed on to bring their game and make it a hybrid game, that kind of stuff. I think that's important, just as important as talking about launch games.
Yeah, I've always been okay with announcing games kind of early. I understand people don't like it when it's too early, but I've always been, because it always gives me something to look forward to. And they haven't done that for us. They've secured kind of, they've hardly told us what's at launch so far. I mean, it's like Horizon, and it's really not enough info yet. And then we, like you said, we need to know stuff for the future as well.
I feel like horror fans are pretty covered, man. Like, hopefully we'll have Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Yeah. We'll have Village. Who knows what the hell's happening with Resident Evil 4. Hopefully that'll be fairly early. Then we've got the new Rush of Blood game. I mean, like, us horror fans are going to be super duper happy for the first couple months, I think.
Horror's kind of having like a renaissance right now. I love it.
Yeah. Loopy the Underground Game Cat with the €5 says, I prefer... This is getting back to... What the hell is it called? Wow, this is horrible. What's the new Rush of Blood game called?
The Dark Pictures Switchback.
Switchback. VR. Oh god, that's gonna take forever to get used to.
Switchback. It sounds like some like weird rock lyric or something.
In reference to Switchback, Looper's saying, "I'd prefer it to be based on The Quarry, but this works too." Isn't The Quarry like kind of them Supermassive just sort of doing Until Dawn, but like in their own IP? Wasn't that the premise for that?
I know nothing about it. It came out, like, I stopped playing most flat games in 2016 or 2017.
Me too. Only recently I've gone back. Nidogger, the European Zakugato with the €2 says, maybe it's time for a poll. And so when I saw this, Nidogger, I put up a poll. And maybe it's time to check in on that poll. I said 20 minutes ago when I saw your message, I wrote PSVR 2. 73% of you said you're buying it day 1. 3% of you said you're buying it day 2. 12% of you said you're buying it day 3, and only 13% of you said that you're not buying it.
What's with this day 2, man? Day 2's so unpopular. What is up with that?
You got to make sure all the kinks from day 1's worked out. You know, not everybody goes in that hesitantly, in that safe and securely. AJ, sounds like a lot of people are running in or diving in with both hands or both feet, whatever the expression is. Real quick, also we've got MRI Gamer with a $10 tip says, Wes, how excited are you that your game of the year, oh god, here we go, after the fall, I can actually hear MRI giggling a little bit while he wrote this, that your game of the year after the fall is getting a PSVR 2 version. Do you think there will be enhancements or advancements? PSVR 2 price increase? Will they get the control scheme right on the first try?
Ooh, that's brutal.
Right, shots fired. What do you think?
I'm kind of happy to see that there's going to be something else to bring me back into this game. I'm actually starting to come to my second period of burnout on this game. Like I was high on it at first. I got burnt out after I finished all the levels. I went back into it a few months ago, hit it heavy. Now I have all the discs unlocked. Like I have all the attachments now, and I've been playing. The last few times I've played is just to play with people. But there's not really been any kind of incentive to motivate me to do it. So I'm kind of getting burnt out on it again. There is going to be, full integration on the new platform with the new features. So I'm excited to check that out. But yeah, as far as beyond that, I don't know. Like I reached out to my Vertigo contact today to ask them, are they going to make people pay for this thing again? And, I'm still waiting on an answer. They got back to me, but it was one of these I have to check with my superiors type things. It wasn't just, oh no, for sure everyone gets it for free. So they're being a bit non-committal thus far, and that's a little bit scary if you ask me.
I think they are 100% not doing a free upgrade for this. They mentioned in the thing, so there are a couple games did mention a free upgrade, and that was Zenith, The Last City. They're providing a free upgrade for those who own the PSVR 1 title. So this is great. This is great that some developers are starting to come out and say, hey, yes, there is like an upgrade option if you purchase the game on PSVR 1. This is what we were hoping for, right? This is the only thing that is better than backwards compatibility is a free upgrade. And the other game was Pistol Whip VR. Vertigo Games has been awfully quiet in this regard, and I think there's a reason they haven't mentioned it. I think there's a reason they're not talking about it, is because, and it just makes sense with their structure and the way they're very business oriented, and it just seems I don't know. It's very, very suspicious, and I don't like it. It's not a good look. I think there's gonna be a little bit of backlash, but at the end of the day, it is a fun game for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not going to be one of the first ones I recommend.
Yeah, I absolutely think they're going to charge for an upgrade, and because I mean, well, you look at the pricing of the game itself, and it was ridiculously overpriced, and so these guys are just trying to get whatever money they can, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass because the most important thing for multiplayer games is the multiplayer community and filling those lobbies up. And so you want to get as many people in there day one. You want to get as many people playing after the fall on PSVR 2 as possible from the get-go. And that's difficult. You saw when Solaris came out on PSVR, First Contact was out there. Frank was out there left and right, man, just throwing keys for free every single place. Every time you turned around, there were just hundreds of free Solaris keys, and you still couldn't get people playing that game, right? And it died in days. I've never seen a game die as fast as Solaris died, right? Especially when it didn't deserve to die like that, right? So Vertigo needs to do everything in their power to keep these lobbies filled, and I just think that I know that, you know, obviously, especially up here, the panel's a little bit divided on the quality of the game, but man, it's like a lot of people didn't buy it on PSVR 1, and I just can't imagine saying. Even asking full price, to be honest with you, for the PSVR 2 version. So we'll see what happens, but I do think they're in trouble with this one if they don't do the upgrade for free.
The retail price for Arizona Sunshine was $40 for years.
I know.
Yes. Yeah, we're not the biggest fans of the way they do business or the extent of the quality of their games, but I don't know. Like I said, I still had kind of fun with this game, and I do think it was I don't know. I think it should have been better. But it was pretty good overall.
It's a favorite in my circle. When every time somebody asks me if I want to play VR, it's always, do you want to play after the fall? And I get in there and play it quite a bit. I have well over 100 hours in it, and it's always good when they bring new content. It's always good. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
I don't know about that, but
I'll tell you what I'm most disappointed by. Honestly, like, I mean, sure, we can talk about the gameplay all day, every day, right? And we probably won't get anywhere because we all have differing opinions on it, and that's fine. I think that my biggest disappointment was they showed us a PSVR 2 trailer, and it looked fucking the same, right? I was like, here we are. We get these blocky, polygonal enemies and environments, and everything just looked flat and boring. I was like, dude, give it a fucking overhaul, right? If you're talking, especially if you're going to charge for it. If you're going to charge for it, give us a graphical overhaul. And I'm a little bit concerned that their deal with Meta being like, oh, next 5 games you get are going to be on blah, blah, blah. I think there's a reason this game looks like it was just up-res to 4K and that was it, or we just got the PC port and that was it. Like, I think this was a very, very quick port. So a little bit disappointing with the way the trailer looks. I'm not even playing the new trailer because you can't even see the difference in the new trailer. Anyway.
Yeah, they haven't mentioned anything. I'm not seeing anything big about the like graphical overhaul. All it says
it's been the PC version. It's going to look like the PC version, which is great.
Which should be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Oh, they certainly didn't convey that in the trailer, which is sad. Right. But
I didn't dissect it. I can't really speak on it. Like I was more interested in the words in the blog post than I was in the trailer, which basically introduced us to what After the Fall is, as if we didn't already know.
You're a reader. I'm a watcher.
That's
Snacks, please. The Let's Go to Tokyo Game Cat right with the $2 tip says, "Where's humanity, dude? If we knew, I mean, I have no idea what's happened to that game. I'm shocked and appalled by its absence." Nidogger, the European Zakugato with the €2 says, "One more question. Keep PSVR 1 besides PSVR 2? I'm assuming keep it alongside. I would say so until we get all the remasters that we need. Where's Immortal Legacy?" Ridiculous.
I still have both of my PSVRs, even though the second one barely ever gets used.
So we did get another game announced that I'm hoping Wes can help out with this one, because I know absolutely nothing about it. And this was we had heard rumors that CoatSync was working on a game, I think for launch or launch window. And this turned out to be the Jurassic World Aftermath Collection. Now, from skimming over it, the only enhancements I've seen so far are that it's up-res for the 4K display. That's 2000 by 2080 per eye. And then 90 frames per second boost. What can you tell me, Wes, about Jurassic World Aftermath? Should I be excited about this? I stopped caring about Jurassic Park a long time ago. I didn't like any of the new movies. I pretty much like the first one and part of the second one. Is there anything for me here?
I mean, if you're not a big fan of Jurassic Park, I wouldn't get overly excited about it. It's fine. It's a fun game. It's a stealth game. But it is what it is. It's a Quest
Stealth
port.
game.
Yeah, it's a Quest port. It's objective based stealth gameplay. So you have to make it to X, Y, and Z, and repair, whatever equipment. And the good thing about it is that it is narrative driven. There are there's voice acting from the original actors in the movie. It's an original story. And despite it being cell shaded graphics, it looks pretty good. Now, because it is cell shaded graphics, I don't think these visual upgrades are going to come across at all. I think we'll get more benefit from the OLED screen than we do any kind of upscaling that they do with this art style. But it's fine. It's solid. If you're a fan of Jurassic Park, there's a reason to be excited. But if you're not, I mean, it's fine. Hopefully they don't overprice it. It is a collection. I haven't played the second one, so I guess I should say that. I've only played the first one. I didn't go back and play the second one.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm just busy, man. There's so many to play. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, King E Mighty in the chat says, "Bring us Dino Crisis." I mean, seriously, right?
Yeah.
Give us a realistic Dino Crisis. I mean, oh man, that would be incredible. Yeah, I hadn't heard the greatest things about Jurassic Park, but the fact is like, you know what? As I've said a multiple number of times, I don't know where my brain is today. I left it at home. Sadly, I'm here. I just want PSVR 2 to be a place where all these games end up, right? A nice, easy place to play all these different games from all these different platforms, Steam VR, Oculus, PlayStation VR 1, just all end up on PSVR 2. Nice and easy. So I'm glad it's coming. I'm not convinced that this is the game that they said they were working on. They said for a long time they had a PSVR 2 launch title in the works. I don't think that's this. I think they're like, hey, we need to fucking port this thing over and make some money and keep working on our PSVR 2 title. I don't know if we've actually seen their launch title or not.
Fall for it every time, don't you?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, when Impulse Gear shows us something other than Larcenauts, then we can talk. Alejandro with the $5 tip says, "Today's my birthday, and this has been the best gift ever. PSVR 2. Let's go.
Wah, wah, wah. Happy birthday, dude."
Yeah, dude. Happy birthday. I feel like I should be giving you $5. This doesn't make any sense. It's not how birthdays work. But
Your birthday is knowing that PSVR 2 is only 112 days away. You will have one.
I'm glad the counter has begun. So Jurassic World Aftermath is not the only port that we saw today. It was interesting to finally get confirmation that we are getting a few other ports over on PSVR 2, like Cities VR by Fast Travel Games, Cosmonius High by Alchemy Labs, and then Tentacular, which I believe is published at least by Devolver Digital. Wes, I've got to admit defeat on all of these games because even though I've heard of them all, I've never played any of them. What do you have a good feel for these games? Can you enlighten the rest of the class?
I've played Cosmonius High. I think that it's a tiny step up from the Vacation Sim, which was a tiny step up from Job Simulator. Still very. I feel like the target audience for that game is not me. So like, there was some cool stuff going on in there, and certainly there was a weirdness factor that if they really lean into the PSVR2's features, they could amplify. But again, not really. I'm not really the target for that game, and I really could say the same thing for Cities VR. Cities VR, I played on Quest. I felt like there was a lot of potential for the title, but it was really questified. Like I felt the hardware held that one back a little bit. If they really go all the way with it and give us a high fidelity city builder in VR, I think there's something there. But again, I the Quest version was just okay and kind of held back by the graphical limitations of the standalone unit. And with Tentacular, I have not played that one. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say that it's boring. I've heard other people say that it's quite clever and engaging. So I can't tell you either way on that one. We didn't cover it.
Nice. Yeah, Tentacular, actually, I was disappointed when they revealed that and weren't getting it for PSVR 1 because it seemed like the perfect game for PSVR 1. You're always facing the same direction. You're doing pretty simple stuff. Like it's very Ghost Giant-like in its presentation. Right. And like you've got these giant tentacles and you're helping this town and whatever. It's sort of presented that way. So I'm curious about these games. I'm interested in playing them, but it's hard for me to be as excited about these titles as it is about new game announcements and PSVR 2 specific games. Again, very happy these are all coming over to PSVR 2 for anybody who's interested in them. But for me, like anything that's already been out on other platforms gets knocked down a little bit, especially if the core platform was Quest 2, because we know the limitations involved in that. However, what are you going to do? The more titles, the better. And I think all these titles come from quality developers as well. So I don't want to.
I think the more good titles, the better.
Yeah, I don't want to discount any of these titles because they all come from quality developers, and I have faith that they all offer something worthwhile. And then I think the weirdest thing about today's announcements were were two different titles, and for whatever reason I don't have these in my run of show, but one of them is is Hello Neighbor VR. I think it's Search and Destroy.
Rescue.
Search and Rescue, is that what it is?
Search and Rescue.
Yeah, perfect. Search and Destroy sounds more fun. And so it looks fine, right? Hello Neighbor. I was talking to Jamie out today, and he said it's actually really scary. On the flat screen, he goes, so this might actually be kind of cool in VR.
I didn't really care for the art style,
yeah.
but the kind of like what's going on with it seemed kind of okay, and I could see how it could be scary or startle you a bunch.
Right, but the weird thing about this is that they announced it for PSVR 2 and said it also coming to PSVR 1 with cross-buy. I was like, wait, what? How is this even possible? We're getting announcements of PSVR 1 games today on a day that's very, very PSVR 2 focused. Like, what is going on over there? Like, how is this the day we're getting PSVR 1 announcements? I mean, everyone else is jumping ship, and then Sony goes, oh, don't worry, we got a couple more games for you. Like, what? Seriously? Which, I mean, I'm really happy about, right? Because otherwise the rest of this year. And I have no idea when these games are coming out. So if they come out day and date on PSVR 1 and PSVR 2, sorry, it's going to be PSVR 2 time.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already in November, man. You can start pre-ordering this thing in 2 weeks. And God knows when it's going to launch,
Yeah. And what's the other one called, guys? Because, again, my brain is shot.
The Light Brigade, is that what it's called?
The Light Brigade, yeah.
Yeah, the Light Brigade. I thought this looked pretty cool, even though, not very highly detailed graphically. I think the art style looks pretty. And as you mentioned before, another cross-buy title that will also be playable on PSVR 1.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed with the name. I feel like it should be called the Light Brigade, Crisis Brigade. It seemed so ridiculous when I first saw it. I was like, really? Do we have to shove VR into everything? And now I'm like, man, it should have been called Ghost Rusters. Seriously, man. Like, VR should be in everything.
They fixed the Crisis Brigade just changed to Crisis Brigade.
I know, and I'm disappointed.
Like,
it sounds so generic now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But this looks interesting. I mean, I think there's probably a PlayStation blog post article that would give us a little bit more information about this and Hello Neighbor. So maybe we should go over there, because I feel like these are the two games that I researched the least before the show began. You guys interested in that?
Sure.
All right. Let me get this.
Not really.
Well, sadly, it's West Day, not AJ Day. So,
Edge Day.
Right.
No, actually, Light Brigade. Actually, both these do look kind of cool. I mean, I'm just kidding around.
Yeah, and subsequently, Hello Neighbor, not a big surprise. I think the original Hello Neighbor had a VR mode originally that got removed kind of like at the last minute. So they've been playing around with the idea for a while.
I was going to say that sounded really familiar. So, all right, I guess I shouldn't be terribly surprised then. All right, where is this? There it is. All right, we're back on the PlayStation blog. Let's check these out. I gotta just blow this up a little bit so I can read it. Yep. OBS, if you didn't suck so much, OBS, this would be way easier. All right. Here we go. The Light Brigade. Developer Functronic Labs. Why does Functronic Labs sound so familiar? What have they done before?
I don't know. It's not...
They've done some Quest games. I think one's called Fuji.
And Starbear Taxi.
Yeah, Starbear Taxi. There you go.
Yes.
That's the other one.
I knew they sounded like PSVR developers.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Fuji. I was like, all right, that's not my thing. But it's all good, man, From the minds at Functronic Labs comes a new single-player rogue-like experience filled with immersive gunplay and moody mystery. The world lies in ruins, and with each passing day, the light grows dimmer. All you can offer the world is a glimmer of hope. As the last line of defense against the darkness, you will enlist in the ranks of the Light Brigade and journey into the sunken world as many times as it takes. Pieced together from shattered memories, these procedurally generated battlegrounds are filled with enemies lurking around every corner. You'll be forced to strategically navigate through dense forests, frozen mountains, and forgotten graveyards with a steady rifle and light magic to keep the shadows at bay. This atmospheric experience is further enhanced by realistic physics-based gunplay, creating tense, heart-pounding shootouts. Climb the ranks of the Light Brigade through hard-fought battles and unlock new firearms with unique spells. Save your brothers in arms from within the sunken world to improve your temple headquarters and unlock new shops and classes. Uncover the mystery of the world's downfall and prevent its destruction before it's too late. The Light Brigade will be cross-buy title for PlayStation VR2 and PlayStation VR. Thanks, Eddie.
I'm not excited about this one on PSVR 2, but I'll play it on PSVR 1 maybe.
I like the weirdness, man. It sounds unique. Like they're blending genres, and again, it has a very unique art style that I think is pretty. And I'm willing to reserve judgment until I play it.
Yeah,
I'm not so much because I've played the other games I hated Starbear Taxi and I hated Fuji. I actually liked Fuji at first. I thought it was great at first, but then just having an exploration game with only click turning and teleportation, really, and I'm supposed to explore and click around, it just killed the entire experience for me. So I don't really have the utmost confidence, and also the way I do like the art style of this, but I don't like the graphics overall and the way they look. They look very, very simple. Like I said, man, I'm getting PSVR 2. I will make some exceptions, but I want a next-gen experience, and this doesn't look like that to me. And these developers have not really proven themselves yet. And I'm sorry, I'm so shitting on them so much. I'm so sorry. But also, the other thing I was going to say was that there's already a game like this that kind of exists called In Death, and I feel like that is probably likely to get ported over and will probably be a much better game.
Oh God, I hope In Death Unchained comes over. But yeah, I think this will be a Quest game. And let's be honest, when it comes to the PSVR 2, especially at launch, I'm going to be playing 4 games. I think I'm going to be jumping around between Switchback, Village, Horizon, and Saints and Sinners 2. That's all I'm going to be playing for at least a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Village. I watched Kind of Funny today, and I was a little disappointed that they're like, "What other big game besides Horizon?" I'm like screaming at the thing. I'm like, "Resident Evil Village, man!" I mean, that's the problem with the way they do this presentation, the way they advertise, market this stuff or lack thereof, is when it's segmented the way it is. People forgot. How do you forget that? I mean, you make it look like these are the launch titles. People don't know anything about a lot of these games. The messaging is just all messed up it's all blended together a little bit too much. And yeah, people already going by today's thing forgot about Saints and Sinners, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village, which is a huge title. That is a massive AAA like blockbuster title that is huge and really should be in itself like, one of the selling points on PSVR2. That's one of my biggest selling points for PSVR2. That's one of the things I'm mostly excited about is Resident Evil Village. And of course No Man's Sky. But there's these bigger games exist, and so that's why it's just weird the way they do this and the way
we're still in the realm of third party here. We haven't got the first party stuff yet. People forget that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The only first party is Horizon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So far?
Yeah, so far. And yes, I mean, Sony has yet to breach the topic of hybrid games. I can only imagine how they're going to introduce that to us if they do. I could obviously kill for The Last of Us Part 1, that kind of stuff. All these other games that are in development that we're assuming will have PSVR 2 support, hybrid games. I think from Twisted Metal to the new Wipeout game. These are,
oh my God, Twisted Metal, please!
Right, these are all games we absolutely need in VR. Not to mention, like, hey, whatever happened to that Killzone VR game, the Super VR 2 event? I think we'd all have a different feeling about this for the most part. But I also think that this is. The price tag was, I think, a little surprising for a lot of people. Even people who were like, it's going to be expensive. I think we're still like, whoa, it really is expensive, right? And so, and there's all these different Quest ports, and talking about stuff, PSVR 1 remasters or upgrades. This isn't exciting for a good number of people, right? People who are really, really interested in PSVR 2 and don't give a fuck about shit that already came out on other platforms or on PSVR 1. I have no idea where I was going with that. Wow, literally mid sentence. Yeah, I just think that Sony, like, there's still a push to be had, right? There's still a push to be had, and we haven't seen everything yet. You're right. It's a lot of third party, and so yeah.
Yeah, everybody's shitting on it, and like in the meantime, Sony secretly has a showcase planned for like next Thursday that we don't know about yet.
Okay.
I mean, you think they've got to have something going. They need one more thing going in before the pre-orders. I don't know. You know what? No, screw it. No, I don't. I'm not going to say that because they very well may have nothing planned right now and just have something for later down the line.
I see people in the chat.
I'm done giving them the bit.
Okay.
I was going to say I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt with regards to marketing.
Absolutely.
Like, they've done nothing to prove to me that they deserve that anymore. Like, they keep muffing it seems like.
Everything seems cobbled together. It seems like there's going to be some big event, and then we get something that's just been cobbled together. They nailed the first one. They nailed the first state of play, but that clearly was a fluke because now they're acting like they're scared. I mean, they're like, here's some PSVR 2. God of War's coming. Like, everything is just under it's all being protected by the news that God of War is coming. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope they have some bigger plans in the future for sure.
I mean, they haven't announced Gran Turismo 7 as Venser in the chat has mentioned. This is something we absolutely are like 100% convinced is happening. It would make zero sense if Polyphony Digital didn't have a PSVR 2 version of Gran Turismo 7 in the works.
Well, it would make zero sense from like a good idea perspective, but from a Polyphony perspective, it would make sense if it either doesn't happen or it takes a while. But no, I'm fully convinced. It's just they always have something go wrong or some technical issues, and they're like notorious for this. So
How do you get microtransactions into VR anyway? I'm just kidding. Just playing.
Hey,
NFTs.
I'm seeing some people in the chat, Wes, say they got their email, including Kill Artist One, the Dreamweaver GameCat with the $5 tip, says, I just received my personal invite from Sony to pre-order. Best day ever. The 15th can't come soon enough. Wes, how you doing over there? Still nothing?
I was starting to forget just a little bit.
He's just pouring salt in the wounds.
Just drug me right back down, man. I want to just like
welcome to being Brian's friend.
Actually, that tracks. Yeah. All right, guys, and let's just close this off by talking about Hello Neighbor, because we glossed over that. Let's just see if there's anything worthwhile over there on the PlayStation blog, and we can actually. Sorry, again, one of you mind reading it, just because everything over here is weird. I think we dropped out for a little bit. We even had a lot of buffering and stuff happening, but it seems like things are corrected now, so apologies to you guys in the chat.
You went robot for like half a second, but it seemed fine after.
All right.
Well, I'll read it, but I do want to point out that our friends from Truant Pixel are in the chat, and if they want to go ahead and drop some news about Runner, which is awesome, by the way, we would appreciate it.
Hey,
I've played Runner as well.
Listen,
yes.
I just want to say, we here at Without Parole were the very first ones to announce, all the way back in April of last year, Runner is a PSVR 2 game, and that was the very first game. The very first game ever announced for PSVR 2, despite what other publications will have you believe.
See, that's an indie title I am 100% supportive of and looking forward to playing on PSVR 2. Absolutely.
It's just because they're here. We know how.
No, it's not. It's because I've been playing the shit out of it.
It's a great game, right?
It's really fun. It's really fun. And after they patched in some of the quality of life stuff, it is so much better now.
Points on?
I mean, this game was like supposed to be my kind of game. This is my type of game anyways, so it had a good chance. And when I played it, I really liked it. So,
you play with the checkpoints on, or do you go for the leaderboard?
There must have been a second patch. I've only played it.
Okay.
The last time I played it, it had the boss patch. Actually, I don't even know. No, I played it after that, so I don't know. I guess I'm doing leaderboard then.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cool games that you could play either way, and how you play is determined by are you playing for progress, or are you playing for leaderboards? But that's a story for another day. We'll get to that. We're talking about Hello Neighbor.
I wish we were talking about Runner today over some of these.
That'll be part of the showcase next week, right?
It better be.
Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue developer Tiny Build Games. Hey neighbors. We got to hand it to you. You're pretty skilled when it comes to outsmarting the neighbor and escaping his clutches. We've got to hand it to you. But how are you in a more, let's say, realistic setting? Well, it's time to find out. Together with Steel Wool Studios of FNAF fame, they didn't say that, but I'm saying it. We're bringing you the most immersive Hello Neighbor experience yet, using virtual reality in the all-new Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, coming to PlayStation VR 2 and VR.
Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous.
I know, right? Mr. Peterson's creepy house takes on a new level of immersion in VR, and there's nothing quite as scary as actually seeing that familiar shadow tower over you just before everything goes black. In Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, you'll return to that house and take on the role of 6 little neighborhood heroes as they confront their fears to free their friend who is held captive in a bizarre basement prison. So this guy is literally kidnapping children. I didn't know that.
A little too real.
You'll need to, I know, right? You'll need to learn and master each of their unique abilities to solve puzzles, uncover mysteries, and make it out of the neighbor's house in one piece, all in the midst of trying not to get caught by the creepy neighbor himself. Just the thought of it sends our heartbeats racing. Whatever you do, avoid the neighbor at all costs. However, he may not be the only adversary you encounter as you attempt to liberate your friend and make your great escape. We hope you're as excited to play Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue on PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation VR, which will be cross-buy on release. We'll share lots of exciting news and details about the game down the road, so keep your eyes peeled. We look forward to seeing you around the neighborhood soon. Tori Gerbeshi, Community Manager, Tidy Build Games.
I was more excited for this game before you read the description. I think I think you sounded like a kid in class that was like, "Oh, I didn't want to get called on. This is not going to be fun at all." But I do think this game has a actually really great reputation, and despite the look of it, despite the cartoony aesthetic, I think this is one to keep an eye on. It probably is going to be a whole lot of fun.
I kind of agree. It's not really. It doesn't seem like it's for me. I don't like the art style, but it seems like a good game. Is that fair?
Yeah. Like it seems like Groundhog Day game. Like the art style looks like Groundhog Day.
I hate that art style.
Yeah, I take it back.
We're just making it worse. You're slowly losing interest. No, I think the big new announcements for me are absolutely the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, absolutely, and Crossfire Sierra Squad. Some of these other ones, could take them or leave them. I like some. I'm looking forward to some of the remasters like Pistol Whip. I'll give After the Fall. I want to give After the Fall another chance. And Zenith, of course. Zenith is a giant open world MMO RPG that is only going to get better over time. So don't sleep on that one either. But the big two announcements that got me the most excited are definitely Switchback, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's be honest, that's the one.
I mean, Crossfire seems really fun to me. Both those two, they look like PSVR 2 games to me. But yeah, if I had to choose one, definitely Switchback.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just really happy to do it. Like it's as we get further and further into this launch period, or as we lead up to the launch period, we look back at like the June 2nd State of Play that gave us No Man's Sky and Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, and gave us got more information and more footage of Horizon, Call of the Mountain. Mentioned Resident Evil 4 having PSVR 2 support, Village. That was all just on June 2nd. And then since then, we've gotten smaller things like Demeo, like Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. We've had today where we've gotten Switchback and Crossfire, and just, reassurance that a lot of PSVR 1 games are getting a PSVR 2 upgrade. This was something that was super concerning when we found there'd be no backwards compatibility. So I just feel like, yes, in small doses, I can see how this would be, like how PSVR 2 launch would be unimpressive. But at the same time, I think that when you start combining all of this and we start looking at it as a whole, I think PSVR 2 is looking better and better and better every single time they do one of these things. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. Gonna spend a lot of money on a VR headset very, very soon, within 2 weeks. And Wes, we're going to be keeping a close eye on your email. I hope you don't mind. Everybody here.
How am I going to sleep,
access.
Dude? How am I going to sleep? Like I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about this. Like I literally went from, like AJ said, I was on the verge of tears when I saw that. All right, so we've got the pre-order date, we've got the price now. Oh, there's a link for games. I click into the link, I see the Dark Pictures, I see a railroad track, and my eyes start watering. Like, oh my God, they're doing it! And I go from that to Twitter. And I see people's emails. Like I got my emails. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't check I have nothing. This is all I've been able to think about since then. I should be on top of the world right now with a Rush of Blood sequel. And all I can think about is, am I going to get mine? I know I will. Logically, I know I will. There's going to be plenty of opportunities between now and February.
I'd be shocked.
How am I going to be able to sleep? How am I going to be able to sleep until I get this friggin' email? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you got a PS5 and you couldn't get a PSVR 2, I'd be absolutely shocked.
I had a PS5 on launch. By the way, easy to get PS5s now. They've been in stock for days, and they're even making shelf space at Walmart. Like the price tag's up for them now, and there's a blank space for them to slot them in. Easy to get PS5s now.
And of course, just a reminder, it's easy to get PS5s in North America, or at least in the United States. Right. Well, we always hear from the rest of the world, too, has been a little less fortunate, but all the manufacturing deals that Sony has in place, those are supposed to turn around and we are supposed to have plenty of PlayStation 5s for the holidays. And if you don't get one for the holidays, you should absolutely be able to get one at the beginning of the new year. So a lot of money to spend all at once kind of sucks, but at the same time, you're going to be getting to come home with a PlayStation 5 to play all your next gen games on, and on top of that, a PSVR 2 to play all your next gen VR games on. It's really the one two punch. Who lets me host shows, man? Who lets me do this?
Not me.
Well, thankfully you're not in charge around here. Red Rover, the effing GameCat with the $20 tip says, any thoughts or plans for a GameCat meetup? Yeah, man, definitely next year around this time is sort of what we're planning on at this point. GameCat meetups are fun, but they're also time consuming, and we want to make sure they're also expensive, right? People have to travel quite a bit.
I was gonna say.
And so we have to make sure that, like, everyone is out of the PSVR 2 launch window and have had enough time to save up all year in order to come hang out in person. So we'll take that as it comes, but hopefully we'll have information for you around the launch of PSVR 2. Exciting day, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And thank you, of course, to everybody in the chat, everybody watching. Thank you to everybody who supports us over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. You guys are keeping the channel running despite my lack of Patreon content. I really appreciate that. It's been a weird couple months. I promise I'm starting to get back on into the groove. Once my brain starts working, maybe the B12 will kick in. Thank you, of course, everyone else, Jay Meow, who gets us up on podcast services of your choice. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who has the unadmirable task of adding timestamps to the show after it's over. And, of course, all the moderators.
Really good. He doesn't just add timestamps. He adds damn good timestamps.
He sure does.
Yeah,
good stuff. You wish you had a Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry.
I had one.
You had a Jeremy the NES rookie,
and I lost him.
That's okay. He's mine now. Sorry.
We can share him.
Yeah. So again, thanks to all the Patreon supporters. Thank you to everybody who tipped during today's show, and thank you to everybody who supports the channel in their own way. And of course, thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show, didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. I'm not cueing the cat. I don't care what day it is.
West Day. We don't cue the cat on West Days.
That's right. Let's get out of here. I know this is a terrible time to ask. This is like, after, hundreds of people have already dropped out of the stream. You guys doing anything cool on your channels? Anything to promote while we still have a few people listening? I feel bad. It's like the show's supposed to be over. What a horrible time to say that.
Well, I mean, later tonight on Strangers in the Night, we will be geeking out over Rush of Blood a little bit more to kick the show off. We're gonna do a real time review of Moss Book 2 on Steam. Complete with giveaway. So if you guys haven't got your copy of that, you might want to tune in and watch as we play and discuss the game. And we're going to be taking a look at a horror themed shooter that just hit Steam called Beasts Shower Eyes.
Oh, I think we should tune in.
Beast Shower Eyes?
Beast Shower Eyes.
So you guys, if you don't already subscribe to Wes over at Virtual Strangers, click the link in the description below and join him over there. What about you, AJ?
Well, the Quest 2 is really hard to set up to stream. I have to buy a bunch of shit to be able to stream it on the channel. I wanted to but I was thinking about bringing back Saturday Night live streams, doing a couple more of those before the last hurrah for PSVR.
Mm-hmm.
So might be bringing those back pretty soon, and otherwise just been capturing footage from these Quest 2 games coming to PSVR 2 and want to do a preview for them. I really want to make a video right now about this Dark Pictures Switchback VR. I would love to make a video about that and how awesome that is, and just help spread the word, because PSVR 2 needs lots of support right now, and people need to know that this is really good shit that they're getting, and they just don't even know, but they will, because we're going to be there to show them.
Can you imagine all the videos that are going to be out, just like there was with the original Rush of Blood? People jumping out of their chairs and losing their shit.
Oh yeah,
playing this game.
I hope I'm one of them.
Me too. Me too. I have to bring us back on the screen. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey, everyone. How's it going? It's Brian from Without Parole. A couple things. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out with me today. And it's obviously an awesome day. One of the many, hopefully many that we'll have leading up to launch and after launch. Wanted to give a shout out to Dutch_DJ with the €6. Just gave us a heart, sharing the love, and Dark Angel 3 with the 650, who says caboose of the tip train. Also, for all the loyal viewers who stuck around to hear us rant after the show was over, I feel like it's only fair that we deliver a game of 20 questions. What do you think?
Sure, man. I was very quiet during your little outro thing there because I was just waiting on you to throw it over to 20 questions.
Yeah.
And I was doing my game research and everything to make sure I'm ready to answer the questions, which I'm not, by the way, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. My brain has not been working like all day. And so I think you're going to stump us no matter how we look at this.
I think I might.
All right, I'll put the team on my back.
Oh boy. All right, I'm going to put. If anybody doesn't know, and honestly, thank you, 350 of you for sticking around after the show was supposedly over. You guys are fucking amazing. We love you so very much. These are the hardcore cats right here.
Fuck yeah!
Right. So I'm gonna put 6 minutes up on the clock up on the counter, the way that Jeremy likes it, and that AJ and I have 20 yes or no questions to ask Wes to figure out what PSVR game he's currently thinking of. AJ, are you ready?
Let's do this, baby.
All right, on our mark, get set, go. Let's work together. AJ, first question is yours.
Is it a sports game?
No.
Oh boy, is it rhythm or horror? Either one.
No.
Okay, so I'm just knocking out multiple questions here.
There might be some scary imagery in it, but I would not call it horror.
Okay. So it might be a spooky game, AJ. Keep it in mind.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of spookiness in it. Does it support the Move controllers?
Yes.
Okay. Has this developer made other PSVR games?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe other games.
So possibly some spooky imagery, AJ. It's not rhythm. It's not sports based. It's developer has made other PSVR games and it does support the moves. Well, we think at least that they've made other PSVR games.
Does it have shooting in it?
Confirmed other game from this developer.
Okay.
Technically, no. Technically, there's no shooting in it, but some people might argue that.
Interesting. Is there another? I'm assuming we're talking about shooting, meaning guns, I guess. So, is there another type of combat other than shooting?
Well, again, technically no shooting in the game.
Right.
No combat in the game either.
Okay, interesting.
Is it cartoony?
Maybe a little. I think that it kind of leans more toward the realism side of things. I mean, it's not photoreal, but I wouldn't call it like Quest cartoony or anything.
Okay. Would you call it a puzzle game?
No.
Uh-oh.
I got 8. Is that right?
Does it have multiplayer?
I don't know.
No multiplayer.
It's a whole lot of nothing is what this game is.
Does the developer of the game hate Wes?
Maybe. Like Sony does. I didn't think that Sony did, but apparently they do.
Is this game also available on Quest?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Not Quest, but we don't know about PC.
It's not on Quest.
Is there time travel in this game?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
Oh, there is shooting. Damn it. That's a bad
I
one.
think that's 11. I'm not 100% on that. I think that's
Okay.
11.
We'll call it 11. Because it feels like we still have a chance. No shooting. Okay, so all we have is that it uses the moves. And they've made other games.
Other game.
Another game.
Okay, what the hell?
They might have made other games, but I know they made another game.
Is this?
Did it come out within... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Would you call this like relaxing?
It can be. It depends on how you play it.
Hey Joe, what are we thinking of, like possibly like
Actually,
catch and
you know
release
what?
type thing?
Scratch that.
Yeah.
Probably to most people, this would not be relaxing. So scratch that. No, not relaxing.
Okay.
So you have
AJ it.
you have a
Right.
kind of intense or very intense.
Is it an experience? Like, is it more towards experience than game?
Kinda, yeah, probably most people would say that. Like it depends. Again, it could be an experience, but there's an interactive element that makes it more gamey. That's optional.
He AJs it better than I AJ it.
Seriously.
That's intentional, by the way.
Is there a flat screen version?
I don't think so. No,
Is there swinging in this game?
swinging.
Like when a couple
Never mind.
brings another person into their marriage?
No, never mind. Never mind. Let's see. Here.
Lust
It's
for
more of
Darkness
it. No,
Pure.
because that's no. Scratch that. Don't answer that. Shoot, man.
Dude, let's go down. I like Awesome Tatum's suggestion. Let's go down the Batman Arkham path. Is this a launch title?
No,
Damn it. Okay, well that gets rid of a bunch of games. Dude, we know so little about this game.
Moves. Yeah, I know.
I think you got 5 more questions.
I expect you to die is such a
We get 2 each.
dude. We should find
It's
out.
more
if,
of an experience. Remember, it's more of a little bit more of an experience.
we should find out if there's like movement. Like, are you stuck in one place or?
Is there full locomotion?
No,
Is there any movement?
I mean you're moving, but no, you can't like control the movement.
Okay, let's figure this out. We got 15 seconds. What game are you moving in, but you can't control? It sounds like it's on rails. It kind of goes for a little bit realistic. Uses the move controllers, but it's not a horror game, not a puzzle game, not a lot of shooting or any shooting. There's no time travel. There's no multiplayer. There's no whole lot of anything. We are running out of crap.
We're running out of crap. It says not a rhythm game, so it's not can't be Beat Saber, Pistol Whip.
Is it Darkness
Stuff
Roller
like that.
Coaster? No, it's not it.
No, it's not Darkness Roller Coaster.
Wes, what is it, man? We fucking lost.
This is Roller Coaster Legends Part
Oh,
Oh,
you were
my God.
close. There's definitely shooting in that.
Yeah,
2.
there's
That's not shooting. You're collecting you're collecting items with like wands or something. There's no guns. There's no projectiles.
What, really?
Good call on the. Good call on the.
I said
the
some
roller
people might
coaster thing.
say. I said some people might say that they're shooting, but technically there's no shooting in it.
Dude, it's just been so long since I played it that
don't think I would've gotten
I
that
see in the
anyways, but
trailer that's
roller
exactly what you're
coaster,
doing.
I-
Yeah, dude, if we had gone down the the
Roller
movement
coaster.
path first or earlier on, we
Yeah,
absolutely could have
no.
gotten the roller coaster. There's only like a handful of roller coaster games on PSVR, so we were pretty damn
Yeah,
close.
I wouldn't remember I don't even remember the name of that thing.
Well,
I
I was
wouldn't
going to go
remember
with
the
just Rush of Blood, but I thought, nah, that'd be too obvious.
That's
But
too
you guys,
easy.
I think I would have gotten you with Rush of Blood even.
yeah, I mean, maybe,
No, you wouldn't have gotten us with that.
maybe.
Try it.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Again, Wicked overstayed our welcome today. Thank you for having us. We love you all so very much. Good night.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I wanted to do a roller coaster